Hey everybody, Canadian Operator here, and today I am really happy to be bringing you a review of my latest rifle. This is the Black Creek Labs MRX Bison. This is the Ranger variant. They have a couple of different options available as well. This one is in OD green. You can also get them in black, of course, and FDE, flat dark earth. And man, there's a lot of really cool things to talk about this rifle. Before we get started with that though, I just want to let you know that if you are having issues or have had issues like I've had with this particular rifle when it comes to light strikes on Nato ammunition, that's the 5.56 that this one particularly is chambered in, then stay tuned because towards the end of the video we are going to be talking about how you can fix that and what you need to do in order to do so. So stay tuned, grab some snacks, relax, and let's get into this video. First things first is we're going to need to make sure that the firearm is clear. I've already done that, but just for safety's sake, we'll go ahead and do that again real quick. Just go ahead and remove our magazine there, which as you can see, nothing inside. And we'll open up the incredibly smooth action. More on that in just a little bit. And as you can see there, nothing going on. Nice and smooth. We'll go ahead and close that up again just for now so it's not sliding back and forth, because I swear to God, guys, it's like the Tika video all over again. It's going to be sliding around, making all sorts of noise and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started at the very front here. As you can see, we have a very nice muzzle brake. That's right from the factory here. We got two grills on that, which is very good. And you are going to have a half-inch 28 thread on that. So if you want to take that off for whatever reason and put on something else, you can certainly do that. If you're picking one of these up from the States, hey man, thanks for buying a gun from Canada. Appreciate it. This is a Canadian-made gun by Black Creek Labs, which is an awesome company, by the way. More info on that a little bit later on as we talk about the light strikes and stuff. But the fact that they included a nice muzzle brake on here is really cool for two reasons. For one, it's just really nice to see that when, you know, my very expensive Tavor didn't come with one. It just came with a little flash hider, and I had to get one for more money than I'd like to admit. And two is that even if you're chambered in 5.56 or perhaps even in 300 Blackout or 7.62 by 39, which this rifle also comes chambered in, it makes you feel like you're firing a 308. And not because there's much recoil to speak of, because there's really not, but the fireball coming out of this thing is like really cool. I mean, I don't know about the 300 Blackout and the 7.62 by 39, but with a 5.56 or a 2.23, it's coming out there pretty fast, and just seeing the gases come out there in slow-mo is pretty awesome. So maybe when we do a range day on this in the future, make sure to get subscribed for that, by the way. Maybe we'll be able to do a little slow-mo on the muzzle brake. But it's really cool. It's also from the point of view of value, right? Like, you would not expect something that costs this little. And again, ladies and gentlemen, wife-friendly channel here. We're not going to be talking about prices, so if you want to get one, do check with your local retailer. But from the point of view of just sheer value, the stuff that you get on this rifle is absolutely insane for how much they're asking. So, you know, there's like three different reasons why I think this is already awesome, and we're only at the muzzle brake, okay? Now, on this particular one, we have a 16.5-inch barrel. That's probably going to be your standard fare chrome moly. It's got a really nice finish on the outside, all black. And yeah, you can get these in 16.5. That's the one that we've got here. You can also get these in 12.5, which is basically going to go pretty much up to here. Like, that's where your muzzle brake is going to be right there, right, in comparison, so you can kind of see that. What's really cool is they do have several different models available here. This one is the Ranger. They do have the Scout, and I think there's one other one as well. You might have to help me out in the comments. And some of them, they do have a little barrel shroud that goes over the top. The Ranger one does not, and I actually quite like that. We do also have the barrel free-floated here with the barreled action inside the stock on this thing. And the stock is basically, it just feels like it's all machined out of a billet of aluminum or something like that. It just feels really solid, really nice in the hands. There is one very small gripe that I have with this, and it's that, and I like this feature now, but when I first picked this up, it did feel a little uncomfortable, and that's just because we've got edges. Like, as you can see there, we've got some edges there. We've got a nice flat bottom. So the flat bottom is great for, you know, if you want to put like a bipod, like the S-Series one that I've got from Harris on here, which we can just put that one up for a second. So that like just looks really cool, right? And it fits really nicely. A lot of stability there because it's nice and flat. However, if you want to, you know, death grip this thing with your left hand or right hand if you're left-handed, it's not going to be as comfy, so you might want to shoot this thing maybe with a bipod on it. If you don't have a bipod, I would definitely recommend maybe a shooting bag or something like that, especially if you're a peasant bench rest shooter like me. Then, you know, then that's probably going to be the best way, the most comfortable way, and you're probably going to get the most accuracy out of that. That being said, though, I completely understand why they would do that. The forend on this one, as on the other sub variants or whatever you want to call them, it's all M-LOK. So you've got M-LOKs on the sides, M-LOKs on the bottom. That is exactly how we've got the Harris bipod attached here, is through M-LOK. It's a little finicky M-LOK, but once you get it attached, it's really sturdy. It works really nice. I've borrowed a scope from my Tikka, as you've probably seen if you've seen my Tikka video. If you haven't seen it, go up there and make sure to check that out, because I did do a T3X Lite video as well, one of my favorite rifles, but I digress. We've borrowed the 4-16 by 50 Diamondback Tactical. We've got that on there. And as you can see, it was spaced really far apart as far as the scope rings are concerned, but plenty of space even on the Ranger version here, which you've got an integrated pick rail up here that comes with it. Actually, I don't think it's integrated. It does look like it is bolted onto the receiver, but you do get that out of the factory, which is really nice. Many other rifles, including my Tikka, did not come with one. So again, from a value proposition, that is really, really nice. One thing I should note is on one of the other variants of this, I hate using that word, it just sounds horrible. One of the other models of this, or sub-models of the MRX Bison, we do have a full-length Picatinny rail going pretty much all the way down the barrel. Reason for that is because, as I said, we do have that barrel shroud on top that you can take off if you want. I know that my scope rings are a little high on this, as they were on the Tikkas. You can see we do have a lot of space there, and I am looking at lowering that at some point in the future for everybody that's about ready to start writing me a novel in the comment section. But yeah, it's really nice to have that included, and it's great. You can use it for pretty much whatever optic you want. You can use this, you know, as a short to medium range rifle if you'd like. You can put a nice big honking optic on it too if you like. Bob's your uncle, whatever creams your Twinkie, you can do with this thing, which is awesome. Moving a little further down, we'll take a look at the receiver. Receiver also milled, machined out of aluminum, but it feels really, really solid. It's really nice. I love the fact that we have basically a black colorway mixed with whatever the color of the stock is. In this case, we do have a really beautiful matte OD green. And I think this is Cerakoted, if I'm not mistaken. Do let me know in the comments below. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've done a little bit of research on Black Creek Labs there. Really fine folks from Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. And from what I understand, in their production facility, I do think they have their own Cerakoting booth or something like that, that they do all that stuff in-house. So that feels really nice. We've got a nice little embossed Black Creek Labs logo there on the magwell, and just behind the magwell here we have a really nice mag release, so that is perfect. If you've got smaller hands, you don't have to worry either. I've got pretty big fat meaty hands, right? So for me, as you can see, if I get that right up there, I mean, my finger extends well beyond that, right? So even if you have slightly smaller hands, you're going to have that pretty much in the position that you want it. The only kind of downside is, as far as I know, I don't think this is ambi. In fact, it's not. We do have a little bar that comes out on the other side, but this is the only way to release the mag. So not as friendly for left-handed shooters. We do have a really, really nice flared magwell. And the really cool thing about this is it takes a variety of different magazines. You've got your standard STANAG AR pattern magazines, and they do have their own as well. So let me show you what I mean. Right here we have, this is a LAR 15 pistol magazine. This one accepts 5.56 and 223 Remington. And I have these because these are great. These are 10-round pistol magazines, totally legal to put in your rifle because they're designed for a pistol for which the limit in Canada is 10. And these will fit just perfectly in there. Again, that really nicely flared magwell makes it super easy to put magazines in, take them out. They do fall free as well, which is great. And the only kind of downside that I have is, you know, you do have a little bit of wobble in there. It's not a lot, but it's one thing that might kind of bother you a little bit. It's not a deal breaker for me. For me, as long as it functions, which it does, it's absolutely fine. One of the things you should notice, though, is you do have this kind of weird, like, bolt hold open thing. So, as you can see there, we're not able to close the bolt because it just bumps into the little follower there inside the magazine when the magazine is empty. Again, cool thing is these things just drop completely free. Really nice. If you happen to have a Tavor like me or another AR pattern magazine, like maybe a WK-180C or perhaps like an MCR or something like that, then you're going to probably have a bunch of these. These are, as you guys probably know, the Cross Industries Cross Mags. They are also pistol mags. They're basically the same as this, except they're kind of like coupled on the bottom back to back. So you can have 10 on this side and 10 on that side. And so if you really want to, you stick that bad boy in there, you know, go to town. This one's got that bolt hold open too for this one when it's empty. But when you're done, you can just flip it over and, you know, there you go. You're back in action. The reason why I wouldn't recommend one of these or the LAR-15 magazine, however, if you don't already have them, that is. If you have them, you can use them, right? But this is the reason. This is Black Creek Labs' brand new MRO, brand new. They released that, I think, around the same time as they released this, which was probably about a year or two ago now. But this is the MRX magazine, and this is a proprietary magazine that only fits into the MRX lineup of rifles that they have, which, as you can probably guess, are all bolt action, and that is why you can have 20 rounds in here. I did a video on this, a little short video that you've probably seen. If not, go check it out. But this is awesome, man. It's just super nice, goes right in there. And like, there's hardly any wobble at all. It does drop free as well. And then, you know, you can close that bad boy with the magazine in as, if it's empty. So that's pretty nice. It's just really, really cool. And the fact that like that does drop free, but you guys might have a slightly different experience because I've got 3 of these and only, I think this one drops free. The other ones, you have to kind of give it a bit of a wobble. Maybe it's just going to take a little bit of time, you know, putting it in a few times, taking it out a few times. I'm sure you guys are going to have a blast with that in the comments. But that being said, yeah, it's really nice to be able to have a 20-round magazine. It's bolt action. One of the reasons why I bought this is because, yeah, my Tavor shoots 5.56, right? But in my Tavor, I can go through like 3 or 4 of those cross mags in a matter of minutes, right? This one, the reason why I like bolt action and the reason why I love to have that 20-round magazine, it actually kind of slows you down. It allows you to take a little bit more time, lets you focus on your target, control your breathing a little bit more. I'm a big target shooter, so that's the kind of stuff that's important to me. You might want to go hunting with this thing, which you totally can. Again, I don't know if I'm not an expert in hunting, so I don't know if 5.56 or 2.23 is going to be ideal for deer hunting. I'm sure you can do it, especially with a well-placed shot. But that being said, yeah, it's a great system. I love that they came up with that MRX magazine. It makes it feel like they're trying to treat us like adults when our government is trying to treat us like children. All right, so while we're here talking about the magwell, the magazines and all that stuff, this action is like super smooth. Like, check this out. I mean, if you've seen my Tika video, like, that's amazing. Just one finger, back and forward, nice and easy. You don't have to ram this thing, you don't have to slam it, you don't have to force it. It's just, like, it's super nice. And I haven't cleaned this thing, and I put about 160 rounds through it yesterday. So the fact that it's just, you know, even after that many rounds, it's still just, like, it's amazing. To get your bolt out of here, very easy. On the other side here, you're gonna have a little button right there. Let's see if I can get a little closer for you. Right there. There we go. There's a little button right there. So you just go ahead and press that. As far as the actual bolt goes, let me just put this down for a second. The bolt is pretty nice. It's pretty heavy. It's got a 3-lug lock on there on the front, and this is a 60-degree bolt throw as well. So it's actually super, super easy. Just go ahead and stick that bad boy back in there. There we go. So you got a nice short bolt throw there, 60 degrees, pretty good. And the super short action in there is also quite nice, very unique to this particular lineup of firearms. That being said, let's go a little bit further back here. We'll talk about the trigger for a second there. We'll move towards the back of the firearm as we do. We've got this pointed in a safe direction, and we've got the bolt locked down, and it's cocked. So let's see how that trigger feels. The trigger, you might not know, but the trigger is a primary Remington 700 trigger from Triggertech. There is absolutely no take-up in that. Like, that feels super nice. My God. There's no take-up. There's absolutely no take-up. The break is super crisp. And there's basically no reset. That's it. You just, it's about 3 3/4 pounds, maybe almost 4 pounds, about 3 pounds, 12 ounces. I did measure this a little bit earlier, and it's very consistent. It ranges anywhere between like 3 and 10 and 3 and like 14 ounces. So super, super smooth trigger, like really easy. Very nice feeling. One more time. This just feels so good. Again, the only kind of issue that I've had is those light strikes. Again, we'll talk about this in just a second, but the trigger feels really, really nice. You're not going to have to do any work with the trigger at all. But that being said, yes, the light strikes are a thing. So let's put this down for a second and talk about it. If you don't know what a light strike is, it's basically when you don't have enough power in the firing pin hitting the primer. Now, it's not so much that it doesn't have enough power, it's also a combination between that and the fact that on 5.56 Nato ammunition as compared to 223 Remington, you're typically going to find slightly tougher primers that take a little bit more energy to pop. And so between those two things, that is what's causing the issue with this particular rifle. This has been happening really only just with their older models of the MRX Bison series of rifles. The newer ones, they've done some R&D on that, and they've basically made it so that they are fresh and good to go from the factory without this issue. That being said, if you happen to purchase one of these and you get one of the older ones like I did, or you already own one and it happens to be sort of, you know, one of the early adoptions, then you might have this issue. And the easiest way to fix it is just give them a call. They were really, really nice to me. They treated me really well. They didn't know at the time that I had a channel or anything like that. Not that I'm a big shot or anything along those lines.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
But they treated me with respect. They called me back, I think, within about 10-15 minutes, which was just crazy. And then the customer service lady that I spoke with there, she was very polite, very cordial. Just asked me what the issue was. After telling her, she basically kind of knew right away. And she said, okay, give me your address. We'll UPS overnight the parts for you. I'll send you the instructions by email. It's very easy. Just change out the parts and you'll be good to go. So the fact that they got that to me today, and I called them in the afternoon yesterday, is a testament to the service that you can expect to receive from Black Creek. Black Creek, if you happen to be watching this video, thank you so much for doing that for me and getting these parts out for me so quickly. And for the rest of you who are watching, we are going to be doing a little range day video on this later on at some point in the future within the next few weeks or so. So do get subscribed for that if you haven't already. And we're going to be testing out the new parts as well and seeing what the difference is. For me personally, yesterday, my results were very interesting. Using 5.56 ammunition, I was able to get about 7 to 10 light strikes, resulting in misfires, which then I had to eject the cartridge after 60 seconds of pointing the firearm downrange and throwing that bad boy in the misfires bin at my local range. But that being said, that's my experience, and I love the fact that they just took such good care of me. So that should be no issue for you in terms of buying this rifle. You should buy it if you like it, if it's something that is maybe chambered in a round that you already have, and if it just looks cool to you or whatever other reason that you might have initially for buying this thing. Don't let this little light strike issue deter you, honestly, because you'll be taken care of if you have a problem, and that is a lot more than many other companies can say out there. All right, so with that being said, let's move a little bit further towards the rear here. We're almost done. We've got a nice little Magpul pistol grip here that you get. Let's see if I can get that in frame. So just a very small gripe about this thing. I mean, it's obviously, you know, fantastic plastic here, but it's also quite thin, which is good. This gun's got a pretty thin profile, which I like, but for my big beefy hands, you know, it does feel a little thin. I would have wished for there to be a little bit more substance in there, but again, it's just a pistol grip, guys. You can change this. You've got a bolt on the inside here that you can take out, and you can change these things out for whatever you like. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is that you can't get the ones with the little beaver tails down here because you don't have enough space on this particular rifle, so you just have to get a straight one. But that being said, there are other models out there that you can get for comfort, and I think that's something that I'm going to do. Now moving towards the very back here, we have this 6-stage adjustable buttstock. I can't do two things and talk at the same time. Now, one thing I should mention is, yeah, this is an OD green. This is Magpul, but this does not come on the original rifle. This one I changed. This is a mil-spec buffer tube as well. So there's a bunch of different options out there that you can change out your stock if you want to do that. I've changed to this one just because it's just more comfortable. It's got these like angled cheek rests here. So if you want to sight this up, you know, it's just like, that's just super comfy. Like, you just lay your cheek on the side here. You don't have anything digging into your cheek. I would definitely recommend this, and maybe I'll do a review in the future if you want to see it. But this is the ACS. You do get an MOE one, also from Magpul, from the factory, which is also quite nice. So that is pretty much going to do it for this firearm. I hope you guys found this video helpful, enjoyable. If you find that I missed anything talking about this, do let me know down below. Of course, I just want to thank you again. I know many of you probably saw the post already from the other night, but I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart from being, a part of this community with me, a part of this journey with me. I had no idea that this channel was going to start taking off as it's been. We're almost at 500 subscribers, which is just absolutely mind-blowing, as we've really just got a very, very light start in December, and mostly with shorts. Now we've had over 75,000 views on the channel and over 2.2 thousand hours of watch time. That is absolutely insane. It's so much more than I could have ever asked for. I know that as far as YouTube standards and YouTube milestones go, it's not particularly high, but regardless, I just want to thank all of you for being a part of this with me. It really does mean a lot. I read all of your comments. I respond to as many as I possibly can. We do also have a Discord server. If you don't know what that is, it's just basically a web-based or app-based, whatever you prefer, chat platform. You can get on. We have the Discord link in the description down below. You don't have to download the app if you don't want to, but it's a place for all of us to kind of come together. It's kind of like a forum, but just so much better. You can post messages, pictures, videos of your gear, ask questions, get answers, and just hang out with a bunch of really cool gunnies from Canada and all around the world as well. So again, thank you so very much. I know this has been a very long-winded outro. I appreciate you for everything that you do, for watching this, for liking and sharing my videos, for being a subscriber, and just for being a part of this community, because you guys just make my day. Every time I read comments, it's just wonderful words of support, and I just can't thank you enough for that. So before I get all teary-eyed, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you again very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.